Release the Kraken!
Welcome back, fellow game designers. In our last one, we went ahead and resized Mario and cleaned him up a little bit. In this one, we're going to go ahead and start putting the bones in. So I'm going to turn off the hair and the hat. We don't need those. If we're going to bring those into Unity or Unreal, we can always attach those as a separate piece. So next up, go up to Rigging, and then make sure we're also in the Rigging tab here. So hit the drop down, go to Rigging. Okay, the next thing over on our Rigging tab, so the first thing is the locator. The next one over is our joint tool. So go ahead and hit that. And I'm going to bring up the tool settings here. Inside of my tool settings, we're going to go to short bone radius and set that to 2. Now the reason I'm doing that is if we click out here and start making joints all over the place, what we're going to see, actually we don't really see anything, huh? There we go. You'll start to see that these resize based on distance. See how like some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. I'm not really a fan of that. So go back in here. We're going to set short bone radius to 2. We'll also make sure that long bone radius is 2. It usually is by default. Everything else is fine. Go ahead and close the tool settings. Okay. And then I'm going to jump into my front view. So spacebar, front view. Awesome. Press 6 to get the color if you don't have it. And then we want to go to shading, come down to X-ray joints. This is going to make life easy for us to make joints. So the first one is going to go right between Mario's feet. This is going to be our root joint. Okay. The next one is going to be in the middle of the pelvis. Go ahead and hold Shift as you do this, and then it'll make a straight line. The next one's going to be right here where between the divide of the two halves of Mario. So I'm going to hold Shift, going to kind of click in there. The next one is going to go right between the buttons. And then we don't really have a neck, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of click this one right about where Mario's neck would be. I'm going to come up just a little bit above that to about Mario's mouth. Click in there. Then I'll go up to the head. Now as I'm making these, I am making a couple redundant joints. Go ahead and hit Enter. For example, because Mario does not actually have a neck, we really don't need a neck joint. But if we do some IK control, it's a little bit nicer to have an extra joint in there. But if you were to bring that into Unity or Unreal, it might yell at you and say, hey, that joint does not have any skin weighting. Just ignore it. It'll be a warning. It won't cause you any problems. We're going to do the same thing with the hand and the foot. We actually don't need a hand joint or a foot joint. We can stop at the wrist, but we're adding an extra one to make it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the leg here, or the joint tool. Come up to the middle of the leg. I'm going to go ahead and click. Hold Shift. And I clicked where the knee is going to be. Top of the foot here, and then bottom. Hit Enter. Cool. And I do the same thing for the arm. I add one in right about there. Hold Shift, throw one in the elbow, one in the wrist. And again, we don't need to have a hand joint, but we're going to add one anyway. And that should be okay. Sometimes Maya actually has a hard time skinning to an object if it doesn't have an actual bone in there. So that's a Maya thing. You probably won't have that issue in Blender. So I'm going to grab the first joint that we made on the ground here. That one needs to be 0. So we're going to set that to 0, 0, 0. That'll give us a perfect alignment. Yay. The next one is good here. That one's good there. All right, let's jump into our side view. Go ahead and turn on shading, and then X-ray joints. Okay. We want to take all of our pieces of Mario. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of Mario's pieces. So grab, hold Shift, select down through. Bring up the Move tool by hitting W. And then I'm going to move this forward just a little bit so that Mario is lined up center. So the white line here, I'm going to put on this bone. That should give us a really good center line for Mario. Now jump up to the top view. Again, we'll turn on X-ray joints. I'm going to grab the arm joint. We want to center that inside the arm. So we're not actually going to move the arm. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and just move it back, eyeball it, kind of center. Good enough. For the leg, I'm going to go ahead and open up my 4-view. I'm going to grab the knee joint. I'm going to come into my side view. Now for the knee, we want this to be bent out. That's going to help us when we set up our IK handles. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the move tool, press the D key to unlock, and then just drag the knee forward just a little bit. Cool. Be careful you don't click on things that'll make the transform jump and cause problems. So, and again, it doesn't always respond. You say went ahead and try to hit Control Z if you try to undo it. So just be aware of that. So be careful, just use the arrows here. I'm going to press the arrow key up and down to cycle to the next joint. I'm going to go down to the foot, move that one forward as well. Hey. Once again, we don't need a foot joint, but we're using it to kind of help our model here, or help our skeleton. Okay, make sure everything's still aligned. I'll press D to lock that back. Good, good, good. For our arm, let's jump into our top view. We're going to do kind of the same thing with the elbow. We're going to move the elbow joint back a little bit. That's going to help us bend it later. So I'm going to press D. And I'll drag the elbow back just a little bit. So when we set up an IK handle, this will bend a little bit easier for us. Do the same thing for Mario's spine. So side view. Coming in. We're going to go down to Mario's spine joints. We haven't named these yet, but if you look, this is the pelvis joint right inside the pelvis part. And then the next one up, this one is on the line of the body here. I'm going to grab that. It's easier to grab the bone than it is to grab the little circle. So if I try to grab in there, it doesn't always work. But if you grab the bone, it'll grab that first. Okay, I'm going to grab that and then hit D. To unlock, I will move it back some. It doesn't have to go back very far. I'm going to go up one joint. I'm going to move the next joint up, back a little bit as well. And again, this is just to kind of help when we want to bend the spine, that it bends the way that we want. Press D to lock that back. Let's go ahead and name our joints. So this very, very bottom one, this is the root joint. We're going to call that root. Unreal recommends you have a root joint, and I work in Unreal primarily. Unity doesn't seem to care. Next one up, this is going to be the pelvis. And you can see that because we have the same name, pelvis and pelvis, we want to make sure that we don't have anything weird on there. So that one's good. Next one up, this is spine 1. So spine 1. The next one from that, I'm going to hit the arrow. This is spine 2. Next one up, this is our neck joint. We don't actually need the neck joint, but we're going to be using it for our IK handle later. So neck. This is going to be the head joint. So head. Now our head is currently head 0, so this is going to be head 1. And then we're going to go up to the last one. This is going to be head 2. Okay. Now the head 2 joint is what we're going to anchor. Hi, kitten. That's what we're going to anchor the hair and the hat to whenever we bring it into the game engine. Okay. So the next thing on our list is to do the arm. I'm going to go up and name it. This is going to be the left shoulder, so L_shoulder. Next one down, this is going to be the elbow, so left elbow. We have our wrist, so left wrist. And then our left hand, so L_hand. Okay. Next one, this is going to be our hip joint. I'm going to go ahead and just move this a little bit more center because I'm OCD. Better. This is going to be left hip. Next one down, this is left knee. So left knee. Left ankle. And then left foot. Awesome. So that's named, that one's named. We can go ahead and start mirroring these across. So let's go up to skeleton. If you don't see the skeleton option, make sure you're in rigging over here. Skeleton. Come down to mirror joints. Grab the options here. Okay. So we're going to use the YZ plane. That's because we are facing Z and we're standing in the Y. So we're actually mirroring across the X. A little bit confusing, but you can see here your different plane options. So Y and Z are these two, right? So our left and right would be the X. So kind of gets you got to get used to it, but that's what you're looking at. Y and Z there, X left and right. And then for the search, we're going to search for L underscore because that's the current name of this side. We're going to replace with R underscore. That's going to be the new side. Grab this one, hit apply. Hey, awesome. Now, I didn't actually choose if I want orientation or behavior. Now, to be fair, we're going to orient the joints anyway, so this is really kind of a moot point. But what this means is whatever you do on this side will be the same. So right now I have it on behavior. If I rotate 90 degrees, let's see, it looks like the Z's are up in this case. So 90. You see that went up. If I grab this one and then try to do that as well, it'll do the same. So a positive 90 is up and up. It's the same behavior. Okay. If you do orientation, I'll go ahead and remove that one. If I set this to orientation, it's going to make sure that this is a positive and this one's a negative. So whatever's positive on this side will become negative on that side. That's my preferred method. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit orientation and then hit apply. Now the up direction is still going to be up, but left and right and forward and back would be different. So if I go into my perspective here, let's turn on shading, X-ray joints. If I grab this one and rotate forward, we get a positive. If I rotate this one forward, you can see this one's a negative because the orientation of the joints is what's being driven, not necessarily the behavior. Okay, and that makes life easier when you go to mirror things across. Whatever's on one side, you mirror it over. It becomes easier to deal with. Right, I'm going to go ahead and grab the hip. I'll hit apply. Make sure again, YZ, we're doing orientation left and right. We're good there. Go ahead and close. And now we have all of our joints made. Let's go ahead and parent these to their appropriate places. So grab the left and right arms. So hold shift as you do that. We want to grab the upper spine joint, which is this one. Grab him. So you can see this is the one lit up between the buttons. I'm going to press the P key. And that will parent those. If you mess that up, you can always grab the children and hit Shift P, and that'll undo. So P to parent, Shift P to unparent. Okay, so we want this middle one, P. Now grab these two. These are the children, and then the pelvis joint in this case. This one right there. This is the parent. So press P. There we go. Awesome. We have our skeleton. Okay, we're going to go ahead and save it here, and the next one we're going to do joint orientation, which shouldn't take too long, but I want to keep it as a separate video so this doesn't get enormous. So go ahead and save your work, and I shall see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. Misty and I both thank you. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can check out some of my books. I like to write, a bit of writer. You can check that out at brucebooks.com and see the works that I've done. I have 2 books out, but I'm working on book 3. That's where most of my time's going these days. Also into NFTs lately. I've created my own NFTs. I have little Rex here. We have the holidays going by. I know Valentine's Day just passed, but they're here. You can check out my Rarible page and all the amazing NFTs. You can also check out Stepdad Doge. I made a cryptocurrency. He's a bit of a meme, but that's kind of the point. The official white paper is out, so you can go ahead and check out the white paper and see what it's about. See who all's in it. You can see how the coin works, what the rules are. If you're into meme coins, it might be something you enjoy. Again, it is a meme project, so only invest if it's something you really want to do. But you can check out the tokenomics and all that stuff, exactly where the project is going, kind of the ideas behind it, and what I want to do with it. We also have official Step Day Doge merch, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, kind of grab some of that stuff. We also have Lame Duck Studio merch, which is available as well in the description. And we also have Step Day Doge NFTs for the fun of it. Of course, we have the holiday ones and the gotta have the floss going on in there. If you'd like to see what's going on in my daily life, you want to communicate with me on a regular basis, hit me up on Twitter, BruceRF1. You can see a lot of stuff that I do, my pets, stuff that I write about, NFTs, you ask gaming questions or whatever not. All that stuff really helps me out, and it helps me make more content for you. So anyway, stay tuned, and I shall see you next time.